Hi, I'm back today with a short video. It's going to be edited in a few places because nobody wants to watch me watching paint dry, so it will be a bit edited, but basically I have wanted to show you how I am doing a distress look to these 3 lantern MDF kit, which is a large, a medium and a small MDF lantern by Polkadoodles, and it is PD 9072-BU. Absolutely really easy to put together they are. I'm not going to show you that because there is other videos designed by Polkadoodles where some of the DT have already shown you how to put it together, and I just want to show you a different look of decorating it and giving you the look you can get. Of course, this is just my version of it. You can do anything. I mean, I have done one, just a single one before, of the one with the hearts on, and I did that completely different to how I'm going to do this today. The good thing about the heart one, I think it would be fantastic for a romantic table thing for, I don't know, Valentine's Day or a anniversary meal or even somebody's engagement. Just so easy and ideal to use. And you could even buy somebody one as a present to use it as that. So it comes with instructions. It gives you a fantastic picture for you to keep looking at as well. And then the instructions of what you can do and what all the side panels are. They do all have, like this one is S1 because it would be for the small one. So, like I say, so easy to create. So, this is the small one, and I don't know whether it's going to show very well on my camera, but I have given it, as a base coat, a very light white wash, because that is the look of my base coat that I wanted. And I'm hoping you can see the difference, because that is the whitewash look, and I didn't do the door on this one to show you the difference. The doors come open, really easy put together. You've just got little holes, top and bottom. You slide your door in, put your top on, and after you've put the sides on, really easy to do. So right, I'm going to show you how I did the whitewash look first. So you need I use this paintbrush. It's quite soft, it's quite thick. You can of course use whatever you want to do depending on what look you want. And I used, because it's in my stash, a lot of things on this video will be what's in my stash already. I have yet to buy quite a few things that I've got my eye open from Polkadoodles that really would make really lovely stuff, but I haven't got them yet. So this is an heavy gesso in white, and even if you haven't got an heavy gesso and you've got an ordinary one, I still would want to water it down. So this is just a spray bottle, bought it off Amazon, quite cheap, and I've got blue on my paintbrush, that's not going to be much fun, but hey ho. And literally all as I do is brush it on. Literally brush it on. I'm not bothered if bits of the wood or the MDF show behind, because basically I am going for a distress look. The inner sections of the MDF and the edges are always darker. That's just what happens with MDF. And again, I'm not bothered if they don't get covered with the white 100%. That is not the look I am going for. I am going for a distress look. So as you can see, no finesse about it at all. If you get some blobs of paint, fair enough. Take them away with your brush. Typical, isn't it? I thought I'll do a video and I get a frog in my throat. It's typical. I don't particularly always bother too much about these inner pieces, like I've said. But as you can see, you get some of the darker bits showing, which is what's happened with there where it's dried. Now, do open your door, especially if you've painted with acrylics or anything like that, because you do not want your door to be sealed shut. I don't always go down the outsides of the door because normally it's shut and you don't see it, but for now I will. If you think it's still too pale and too much wood showing, you can of course go over again. But that's entirely up to you and what depends what look you're after. So that is your first white layer. And the bit of water that you've added to your gesso won't do it any harm at all. Once it's dried, it'll just go back to being fairly thick gesso anyway. You can dry off your paintbrush and just take any excess off if you want. Like I say, I've got the next colour on my paintbrush that I'm going to use. I'm not too bothered because that'll get covered up with it, but do make sure if you can that you want the white to have no paint in your paintbrush before you start. I will dry that off, probably with a heat tool, or you could leave it to dry by itself. And of course you'll have done all four sides and the tops in exactly the same way. So I'm going to leave that on the side to dry, and I'm going to show you what I did with the other two. All done exactly the same way. Now I haven't got the height of my camera to be able to stand it up, and you won't get much of a view anyway, but this basically is the middle one, which has the hearts. Now the kit does come with separate hearts that you can put on all four sides. Because I'm going to do this one for Christmas, I'm not going to bother using them, I don't think, but if I do decide at the end, I can always glue them on at the end and just do the same stages. As you can see on this one, there's little bits of the MDF, distressed MDF showing through at the back, at the bottom or the base or whatever you want to call it. That is a look that I'm after. I'm quite happy with that. If you don't want this distressed look, you're probably better using acrylic paint rather than what I'm going to show you I used. So that is the medium one, and then this is the large one, which as you can see I can't even get in the camera view. But basically I've done exactly the same steps on this, and you can see it's very distressed looking, which like I said was the look that I was after. And I have just gone for a neutral colour personally, that I personally thought would then go into any room. But of course if you have a room setting, you can paint your colours to go with whatever, whether you're traditional Christmas, which I must admit I am not. I tend to love the medium turquoisey blues, icy colours and stuff like that, but that is again entirely up to you. And if you are into your traditional colours, you could do this white and put all your reds and your greens and everything else in, or if you prefer to do it that it's on your actual MDF lantern, you can paint them blues, reds, greens, traditional greens, whatever. It's entirely up to you. Now I'm coming back to the small one just because it's easier, and as you can see I've already, no, that's the medium one, sorry. I thought, what's going on there? I picked the medium one up. Right, so this is the small one, and you know I've just done the door, which, look, is not quite dry, but not so far off, and I've literally only just been doing what I've been doing in the meantime. So I'm going to leave it like that. I would leave it longer, but while we're on a roll, we'll do while we're on a roll. Right. I got this verdigris look, which again, I didn't want it to be anything too solid with the acrylic. So I literally, in my stash, have a mica powder. I've quite a few, but this is the one that I picked the colour for. This one is a Finnabar, whatever it is. And I literally, these come with a plastic removable piece of cover, so you have to take that off. But then I just sprinkle some into a water dish. And then if you spray that with a spray, as I found out yesterday, the mica goes everywhere. So I find it's easier to get a pipette and put some water in. Now this was from yesterday, so I'm going to have to see how it goes on. But hopefully it will remix. If you want this to look even more like an acrylic, and you can make it so it really is steadfast, you can put some acrylic medium in, again by Finnabar, and that will make it into a paint, proper paint. But that tends to be a bit thicker. Excuse my frog in my throat. And like I said, I just wanted literally just it to be this distress look. So take a bit off your paintbrush and literally go over. When I was doing the others, have this stood up. I can't have this stood up because you'll probably never see it. So it might be a bit shaky as well, because when I'm doing a video, I don't know why, I had shingles a few months ago. I've still got the spots, to be honest, and it has left me a little bit more shaky since it's gone. But I do tend to shake anyway, so hey ho, it's one of them. So just excuse any shaking hands if you see them. But like I say, again, there's no finesse to this. You're wanting to do exactly the same as you did with the watered down white gesso. You're just literally putting it on. You can get it so that you go underneath as well if you don't want to miss any pieces. You won't really see them once it's stood up. But that again is how much what you do is up to you. So like I say, don't worry too much at all. So as you can see, you've got some that are darker. If you don't like that, just go over with your brush again. It doesn't bother me that I can see these wood wherever. Just let me get this into the camera. Let me see, where am I? Trying to get it so that you can see what I'm doing, and it doesn't want to do it, does it? Ah, there we go. These bits here, these wood sections that has gone in to put it together, I'm not bothered. They're like coming up slightly darker. Like I said, that isn't a problem for me. So basically, if you're not much of a painter and you just want to have a go at something that you think, well, if it doesn't work out, if I don't get a perfect look, that's not going to be an issue. And I mean, we're going to decorate this up afterwards and cover it with a lot of embellishments and different stuff anyway. So, like I say, don't worry about it. If you've got too less colour of a dress look, you can go over the top once it's dried and you're not happy with it. But I'm quite happy with that. And they do look slightly different, slightly more distressed when it's dry anyway. But like I said, don't worry about it. Really don't worry about it. So I'm going to paint this now in exactly the same way. So I'm going to switch off my camera because you don't need to see that. And then I'll show you when I've finished. So this was the door that I'd just finished with the white, and as you can see, I've now got a layer. It is still a little bit wet, but these were the bits that I dried first, painted first, and they're already drying, and they're giving that distressed look, which is what I was after. So I hope you found that fairly easy to follow. Like I say, there's nothing really hard about that bit at all. And then this is what you get, the look you get from the top as well. Actually, I think do you know what? I've forgotten to do that side, that top bit there. So I shall just, as you can see, I've not got much left of the actual water left in with my mica now. So it might even come on a little bit of a stronger colour. But you will still get the same effect, as you can see, as it's drying. See if we can get a bit more light on. As it's drying. And then that's the one that was done first. If it's not enough green, you can go back over it. Like I say, you always, of course, have a front section because you've got a door. So that is the painting up of the base units. Now I'm going to bring in the middle-sized one because I'm going to show you how I decorate the inside to start off with. But again, I'm going to have to break off because I've just realised that I haven't actually brought the stuff that I need for that. So I shall be back in 2 seconds. Right, sorry about that. I've just moved my craft room round, and to be honest, I've given myself a table for my video in. But then I remembered that I've got to bring me actual stuff that I want to video from the other side of the room, and I had forgotten. So note for next time to try and not do that. But we are all human, aren't we? Right, so I just want to do this base here, which, like I said, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to show you with it the way that I would do it like that if I wasn't on the camera. But I'm not going to be able to do it like that because my camera's not high enough. Basically, I have got this Daler Rowney. Yeah, Daler Rowney structure paste. I've had it for quite a while. Sorry if you heard the door then. It was somebody's been told to keep quiet on me. They're not doing. So anyway, this is the structure paste. And basically, I've had this tub for ages. It goes quite a long way. Of course, if you don't want to use structure paste, you can use anything else you want. So basically, I've put some on a palette knife or whatever these tools are called. And I literally just put some on. I mean, there are stuff that's faux snow, and if you bring it up when you with your knife, it gives more of an effect of snow than if it's flat. Well, I think it does anyway. And if you're wanting to glue something on it afterwards, it's not a problem because you can always use some hot glue to glue stuff down. Now you might think that this is taking quite a bit of paste, and I will admit it is. So you might decide that you don't want to do this, but it really does make a good snow effect to me. So I tend to use it. A little bit harder way around this door, but then again, nobody's going to really look into the corner once you've got the rest of the stuff in. And the only other thing is wipe it from the front there and off where the door goes, because once that's shut you don't want it stopping your door from shutting. So there we go. That was the effect I wanted to show you. It's a little bit hard to show you on my camera because, like I said, unfortunately I haven't got enough space to stand it up, and I definitely haven't got it on the bigger ones, on the biggest one. But that basically is what I will do for the other two as well. So I'll leave that for now. You've seen what I've done, and I will leave that to dry by itself, and the peaks will stand up and I will show you that when when it's dry. So I'll see you soon. Right, I'm back with the lanterns, and this is how I've decorated them all slightly different. But basically that's the verdigris effect, distress paint effect that I did. And I've just made some poinsettia flower type things, die cut some leaves and added bits and bobs of all different things to finish it off. Then on parts of the leaves and parts of the flowers and on the cone, I have just added with a spatula thing some of the frosting stencil butter in Ocean Sparkles by Polkadoodles. I didn't want to be doing the whole lot, but it does, I don't know if you can see that, it does add a nice icy look to little bits of the leaves here and there. Now then, I'm going to have to lie this down and hope that nothing goes flying. The snow effect that I wanted to do on it next, I've used the Deco Art Snow Tex. And basically, again, I would do this stood up, but you're not going to see much if I do that, so I'm going to have to do it at an angle. And basically, I just take a fairly stiff stencil brush and dipping it in, and I do a dabbing motion and go along the edges, not everywhere, because I don't want everywhere to be done, so I leave sections. You can add some more on the flowers. I added some on the tops. On this section at the back, I also find if you just slightly twirl your brush, you sometimes get a bit of a thicker bit on your brush. And again, that's quite a little spot, so I'm going to go along with the thinner brush. My snowflake's falling out there, so I'll have to just I didn't glue that in, I must admit, because it just tended to stick where it needed to be. But while I'm messing with this, it probably will move, so I'll just put it back in after. Basically, you're just doing this similar motion all the way around. If you want some more on the flower and the things, you can do. I'll just take that out for the time being. It's my own fault, I should have glued it in. But it's come out, so it'll go back in. You wouldn't normally be doing this with it. Tipping it upside down and round and round. So as I said, I don't put it everywhere. So I can still see some of the background paint effect. Those bits where you saw the edges, and I said I wasn't too bothered, but you can hide it with this as well if you want to. Trying to hold this so you can see the what I'm doing as well. The door's come open a little bit there, don't just shut it. Like I said, this is happening because I'm having to mull about with this so that you've got the correct view. Hopefully. I'm hoping you've got the correct view. So I did the other ones with it stood up, so you don't get this banging and this messing about. Right, so now I've just got this door one to do. Just make sure that door's shut. Or while I'm on with the subject of that, when you build anything inside, just keep checking that you can shut the door. Because when you put things on, you can think, oh, that looks nice. And then you go to shut the door and you've put something a little bit too far forward. And you want to be able to have it that the door can be shut. So just go with where you want and with how much you want. And like I say, alternate the brushes. So that's a bit of glue string. So basically now you've got this one. Of course it is wet, so I'm struggling a bit to show it, yeah. And I will put the plastic snowflake back in. But these are two that I did before. And again, it's too big for my camera view. So that was just some parsley effects. I made some inside, some more poinsettia. You can have it that your snow effect's a little bit more prominent if you want to get that effect. My parcels have also decided that they're not sticking very well. That's because I'm moving it. So I'll also have to restick those. I have a glue gun, but to be honest, it's not really getting very hot for some reason or other, and I don't know why, because it's not that old, but it doesn't seem to want to be working very good. And then this is the other one. So like I said, I've just put different things on as I've fancied, but done the same effect for the painting and the snow effect. This one, you'll not be able to see it very good, but I did put some lights in, just so that it gives a bit of a lit up scene. And that one's got trees in and different things. So, like I say, it's a bit awkward, but I'll take a picture of them for the front of the video, so you'll be able to see them as they should be stood up and everything. And hopefully you'll have enjoyed my tutorial, and it might give you some ideas of what to do. So thanks for watching. Bye.